Welcome back to the LYC Yavneh Media Studio podcast. It is Grand Final week and I am here with some great guests, a fellow Pie supporter Noah, a Lions supporter Ethan, and the Hawthorn fanatic Mr. Keller. How are we all? How are you, Mr. Keller?
58 years a Hawthorn member, I've seen it all.
Yeah, we know. You've seen plenty of premierships, unlike Carlton. Oh, yeah, what was it? Wait, hang on. There we go. Let's get into it because we've got a ripper show ahead. First things first, we're going to have a rundown of the Swans versus Port game. Noah, give us your rundown on that.
Pretty boring game. Started off.
I guess you got to be closer. Yeah.
Started off first 10 minutes of the game was quite good, both side to side. However, Heaney, Warner, and Goulden just took away the game from Port Adelaide, and Port Adelaide's grand final was last week against Hawthorn with Ken Hinkley.
Yeah.
But I think Sydney are looking good. Tough start, but they brought the heat, brought the running game, and then Blakey was amazing as well.
Yeah, Mr. Keller, have you got any comments on the Swans Port game at all?
I love people who go far too simplistic for a game of football.
Yeah.
Okay, grand finals, every person, doesn't matter what the game is, they are 100% motivated to do that game. We've got to look at a bit more of a micro system. Adelaide Oval, 20 yards narrower than the MCG.
Yep.
You can put pressure on teams very easily.
Correct.
Go to the MCG or go to the even wider SCG. There's space to move.
Yep.
And you can't put that pressure on. Port aren't that good outside.
Yep.
They can only do inside pressure. When they couldn't do that one at the SCG, Sydney just opened them up. Notice how many times they went right round the boundary line.
Yep. You are right. Interesting. Now, let's talk about the Brownlow medal, which was on Monday, or I'll call it the Crips show, Noah. The thing is, look, we can get into it. We're not going to go too much into it, but Noah, what did you think about the Brownlow as a fellow Pies man?
I think it's lost all its credibility. It's 3 votes, Cripps and Dacos, and other players that have got great impacts on the game aren't being recognised because the umpires have got too much to do.
Yep. And
they are just noticing first player that gets the ball in their hands, and they give them 3 votes every time. And I've always said the coaches award is a highlight to the best players all year, rather than the Brownlow, which is more prestigious.
Yep.
Do you know that not one All-Australian defender got a Brownlow vote?
Wow. Did you know that Cripps polled in the Collingwood-Essendon draw? It was P. Cripps 3 votes because he was watching it in the stands, so that's what I heard. Ethan, look, your mate Lockie Neal didn't get given the Brownlow. I mean, didn't win the Brownlow again.
No,
so yeah,
it's a bit unusual. The umpires love to give him votes, but I think he didn't get recognised for a few games. Like a few of the games, he had 37. I think he had 38. One game, he didn't even get a single vote.
Well, there you go.
So, I feel like the umpires should be looking at the stats rather than just who's getting the clear.
And maybe getting it right, like giving Josh Dacos 0 votes for 37 touches.
Cripps had a few dodgy votes.
Yeah,
as well,
and Nick Dacos gets 2, gets sub for the game. Well, it's perfect. It's just a big circus. It's magical. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of it. Let's talk about I'll talk briefly about Lions versus Cats. I was there in the MCC that game. Tell you what, 5 o'clock on a Saturday, it was twilight magic. And I was originally going for the Cats, and then I realised halfway through the third quarter that it was getting a bit boring. And then I realised that Ollie Henry used to play for Collingwood. I'm like, no. And we've got our old mate, Mr. Four, who watches his podcast. And I told him, I go, guess what? I've swapped over to the Lions. And what a game it was, Ethan. You're the Lions man in here. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to sit level 1 on the wing.
That was after Shabbos, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was honestly incredible. Probably the best Brisbane win I've ever witnessed.
Well, you went around 02-03 for those grand finals. I was there for them. Mr. Keller was there as well, I think, actually.
Yeah, I just think it was just the fact that the way that we played, how we just opened up the ground. Like, we never played the MCG that way 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We never played like that.
You didn't play like that against Collingwood.
Yeah, the Pies. Yeah, the boys.
But you opened it up this time. So
They did. Let's talk about the grand final, and we'll start off with Ethan talking about the grand final. Lions, Cats. Ethan, you're going to answer these questions for me. How will the Lions win? what worries you about the Lions lineup and how you're going to stop. Well, yeah, how the Lions going to win and what worries you at the same time. Go ahead, and a bit closer too.
I think there's just talent everywhere in the team. I mean, you look at the back line. Harris Andrews, robbed of the All-Australian. But
Harris Andrews,
he's
Frampton.
a star.
Yeah.
Darcy Wilmot off half-back. He's young, but he's very good. And then in the midfield, just Dunkley, Neal, McCluggage, Ashcroft. Obviously, you don't have a ruckman.
Everyone's favourite, Zorko. Love that guy.
Yeah, Zorko off the half-back. So I forgot about him. But yeah, he's incredible as well. Obviously, we don't have a ruckman. McInerney went out with
not
the
good.
shoulder, but I think Darcy fought. He'll do all right.
It's like he's carrying the team.
And I think even though he's only played 2 games this year, he should do all right. And then in the forward line, there's just stars everywhere. Joey Danaher, Charlie Cameron.
Take me home, country road. Let's see what happens.
Hopefully Hipwood can stand up. And then the smalls, Kai Lohmann, he had an incredible game.
They're a good team.
He didn't kick straight, but he just had an impact everywhere. He even took a few marks in the back line.
You're impressive, but what worries you about the Lions lineup?
Well, I think the way how we play, it can be a bit prone to turnover. As you saw, when we were down in that second quarter, when Geelong started intercepting our kicks, they started going out the back. They got out at the back a few times.
Yeah.
And then in that first goal of the third quarter, they also...
they did.
They got us off the turnover. So I think the way how we play can be easy to... I don't know, rebound, I guess.
Okay.
But I think what's good is even if we stuff up one play, the next play we'll do it again and then it works. And the thing about Brisbane is we can score very quickly, as you saw against GWS. We scored, I think it was 5 goals and 18 kicks or something.
Okay.
We did the same thing against Geelong in the third quarter, so I think that's a strength. But obviously we need to look out for the 3 big stars in Sydney, Heaney, Goulden, and Warner. They can do a lot of damage.
They can.
But the thing about Brisbane is I think we've got more depth than Sydney. So if we can try and nullify Heaney, try and nullify Warner, then we'll have a good chance of winning.
Big calls. Now, let's talk. Well, the next question I had was actually for Noah. Who will win the grand final and why? Your tip and under, yeah.
I think Brisbane will win by 28 points.
Wow.
Big call.
Big call. Huge call.
I'm one of those people.
I'm laughing.
If you look at history, most grand finals that don't involve Collingwood, there's been, in the last 15 years, there's been one that have been a close game.
Yep.
So grand finals tend to be blowouts, and same with prelims. One is close, one is a one is a blowout.
Yep.
So I think Dunkley stops Heaney, and I think Rayner, Bailey, Lohmann, and Charlie Cameron have an outstanding game, and I think Hipwood, Danaher, they'll just be too strong for Brisbane, and especially last year, the heartbreak, they're just going to be fighting for it more.
Yeah, Brisbane, 28 points. That's your tip.
Yeah, and a special mention to Will Ashcroft. I thought his game, I thought his final series has been amazing, and I think he can do some special things.
Okay. Interesting, Noah. Mr. Keller, who's your tip for the big game?
Bloody hard. I think Brisbane this won't be a blowout. Both teams have a plan B. Brisbane didn't until the last few weeks, but they can show. They like to possess the ball, short kicks. They went chaos for 2 games.
Yep.
Got away with it.
Yep.
Okay. Sydney can do the same.
Okay.
They can go chaos.
Yes.
You say he's talking about nullifying Heaney, nullifying Warner. GWS did that great, and then in the last quarter, Warner and Goulden got off the leash.
And what's the Swans, the stat of them playing during the day? I heard something ridiculous. Like they haven't won during the day for a long time either. I know it doesn't make a difference, but...
Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year because there's no dew on the ground or anything.
Yeah, true. So your tip, sir?
Brisbane by less than a goal.
Oh, huge.
And that's not confident.
Okay. Ethan, we talked about you. Yeah. Did you give your tip?
I think Cam Rayner will win the Norm Smith.
Well, we'll get to the Norm Smith. Hang on. So your tip, what do you got?
Brisbane by 11.
Huge. Okay, look, here's my tip. Here's what's going to happen. I remember 02 and 03. I was there, Noah. And I was going for Brisbane last weekend, but this time, no, I'm going for Grundy. I want him to get a medal. Not a big fan of Papley, but I just think that it's going to be close up until the last quarter, and I think Sydney are going to run away with it. Heaney's going to rack up the possession. Someone big like Bobby Hill last year, someone like Goulden or something's going to pop out and do something in the last quarter, and it's going to be Swans by under 10 points. That's what I'm thinking. And Brisbane are going to understand what it's like to lose 2 grand finals in a row. And like Revolt said on the radio, if they lose this, it's going to be a big problem for you, mate. Because Fagan, I love him, but you can't keep losing grand finals. As Collingwood supporters, we know this. And we're not going to mention 2018 and a certain player. We know who that is. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's it. My tip is there. Now, let's go to the big calls. All right, let me just... Are you ready for this, guys? Are you ready for the big calls? We need, quickly, Norm Smith medalists. Noah, who you got?
I've got Hugh McCluggage.
Oh, huge. Okay. Ethan?
Cam Rayner.
Cam Rayner. Okay. Mr. Keller?
Norm Smith medal has been won by the last few years by someone who comes out of nowhere and kicks 2 or 3 goals.
Bobby! Yeah.
Zach Bailey.
I'll tell you who I've got. Either Goulden or Zorko. One or the other. So we've gone through the grand final, we've gone through all that. Let's talk about one little tiny more thing that's people want to know. So let's talk about the circus that was Ginnivan at the start of the finals. Mr. Keller, you're the Hawks fan. He used to be a Pies man, but he decided to just leave. That silly Instagram post, let's talk about it. Now, let's be serious. Caro said that if he didn't send that, Port Adelaide used it as ammo towards their game, okay? If Ginnivan didn't send that post, do you think Hawks would have gone the whole way?
Had no effect at all.
Turn it up.
If the modern footballer needs that to motivate them to get into the finals and to play finals, to win finals, they're not worth being a footballer. Look, Hinkley overreacted.
Yeah.
He admitted it. Second time he did it this year, he turned around to the Hawthorn bench after that first loss,
Yep.
put his hands to his throat and said, you guys choked.
Yep.
And that's why Sicily said he's done it before.
Yep.
And that's why he'll do it again.
Well, you know what? Also, if you're going to give it out and say, see you in 14 days, and then Hinkley comes back and says, you're not flying anywhere.
Coaches should shut them out.
Yeah.
Coaches,
how about just take it easy?
Coaches just shut up. Coaches
How
just
about
should
he
shut up.
takes his own medicine, bit of shush Ginnivan, and how about that? But yeah, look, guys, it's we've all got it. We've got 3 Lions tips and the Swans. We'll see what happens. It's been real. This is going to be the last time. Well, yeah, you're going into exams, Noah and Ethan. Good luck with everything. Mr. Keller, I want to say thanks.
No post-match.
We probably will do a post-match podcast. Good one for next week, but these guys won't be here. We'll be on holidays. I've been Mr. D, Mr. Keller. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Ethan. This has been an LYC Media podcast production. Go the Pies.
Go the Pies.
Yeah, it's going to be great. See you then. See you next time. Thank you very much.